Hi, my name's Justin Beaton, the author of the book Making Super Sexy. Now, if you haven't downloaded the book yet, I'm not too sure what you're waiting for. By all means, download a copy of the book by clicking the link below. Now, today's video, what I want to cover is one of the key strategies that many people have used in the past. Many Australians have accumulated wealth to retire on, and that is through one of the key investment classes that many Australians are so passionate about: residential property. Now, previously it's been very difficult to buy residential property directly inside of your super fund, simply because the cost of buying a property is usually so high. Previously, prior to 2010, you had to fund pretty much 100% of the purchase price of that property inside of your super fund. So if you're looking around, looking at property, and a property costs you $400,000, then you needed at least $400,000 inside of superannuation to be able to take advantage of that asset class. However, since 2010, there's been new laws that have been introduced into the superannuation industry that effectively enables direct residential property and also commercial property to be a valid and very accessible investment class for most Australians inside of superannuation. The rules in 2010 effectively mean that you can now borrow inside of superannuation to take advantage of investment alternatives. For property, you can borrow up to 80% of the property value. That's right, 80% of the property value. Now, there's key characteristics, key criteria that you need to meet to be able to borrow inside of superannuation. It isn't as simple as just going down to your local branch or your local bank and saying, hey, I want to buy that property, I want to use my super money to do so. First and foremost, you need a self-managed super fund. Secondly, you need to set up a special trust to hold the asset in. Because after all, the superannuation or the self-managed super fund needs to be the beneficial owner of that underlying property. But for that example, how borrowing makes a huge difference is that for that example of a $400,000 property, because you can borrow now 80% of the purchase value, you only need like $80,000 to meet that initial deposit. Now sure, there's transaction costs that are involved and certain fees for setting up the loans for the bank, and also the required special trust for inside of the self-managed super fund. Now the team at Sequoia Super, they can help you with all of that. If you want to find out more details, by all means download a copy of my book, and it covers a few of the key criteria that you need to meet to be able to borrow inside of your super fund to go buy property. But for me, when I look back at my grandparents, even my parents, the way that they've funded their retirement in the past has been done so through the assets they've built inside of property. Now with the new borrowing rules as of 2010, you can now borrow inside of your super fund and go buy residential property and also commercial property. Now remember, you still need to meet the sole purpose test. Now what the sole purpose test means is that your super proceeds and any investment inside of superannuation must be for the sole purpose of providing you an income for retirement. So you can't live in the house. It needs to be for investment purposes. You can't go buy that property on the lake up the country, at the countryside as a holiday house. It needs to be for the sole purpose of providing income from retirement. But now, today, more and more people are buying direct residential property as an investment inside of a self-managed super fund than what we've ever seen in the past. In fact, over the last few years, we've seen around $14 billion of superannuation money going to direct residential property. So again, my name's Justin Beaton. There's plenty of investment alternatives, and you should seek independent investment advice before you make any investment decision about your super fund. But for me, for many Australians, residential property is going to be one of those asset classes that will be considered. So my name's Justin Beaton. Thanks very much. See you next time.